Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan, MS Pitts. Ukraine War News Update. First part thereof, eventually for the 6th of November 2024, is information is a little thin on the ground. I think everyone's been concentrating on the US elections. I've been pretty distraught, I have to say, for the last however long, I don't know. Anyway, let's get on with the Ukrainian General Staff figures for the Russian losses for the day before. All the usual caveats apply, of course, and you can find those in the description to the video below. 1,250 personnel lost is a pretty hefty number there, about where we saw it yesterday. It's just creeping back down below 1,300 again. 6 tanks lost is below the daily average, but still going to hurt the Russians a wee bit. 11 armoured personnel vehicles, lower than daily average as well. That's a low number. And 20 artillery systems, definitely not at the heights we've seen previously. 55 vehicles on fuel tanks is all right, and 1 piece of special equipment. So nothing really to write home about. Troop losses are still fairly substantial. Activity is still going on in Kursk region. Supposedly engagements with the North Koreans there, as according to sources yesterday. That's all I have. No Andrew Perpetual loss list. No videos really to go alongside with that. Just a quick one today. I've already spoken to the channel at length about my thoughts concerning the US election, so it's probably gives my voice a rest, shall I say. Russia has fired 2 missiles at Odessa again. That's over the last 24 hours. 63 drones, another big old wave of drones. 20 of them were stopped with electronic warfare. 38 shot down, so that's 58. 2 are still flying, so that's 60. 3 likely hitting targets along with the missiles. So the missiles were not shot down, so Odessa seeing some attention again, and at least 3 drones likely found their targets too. So some destruction. Now, fascinating that this has happened. As someone says, Ocean Technical, oh no, it's not that one, it's Jay in Kiev, says Ukraine was obliterating Russian oil refineries and other key targets on an almost daily basis until a month before the US election. Then hours after the results, a resumption with Ukraine hitting naval targets 1,000 kilometers into Russia. So this is the Caspian Sea, which I find interesting that this is the first time we have seen an attack on the Caspian Sea. This is is it Kupiansk? Is that the name of the... Well, let's go and look at what has happened. Here, reports appeared that 2 warships were hit in Russian Kaspiysk. The Tatarstan and Dagestan missile ships were reportedly damaged in a drone strike on the Caspian Fleet in Dagestan. Small missile ships of the Project 21631 Buyan M were damaged. You can see the explosion take place there. So these were and another one there. These were some of the aeroplane, light aircraft style drones. And there's quite a bit of footage to show these drones going and doing their stuff. This desperate gunfire at unidentified drone that attacked Kaspiysk earlier today. According to Ukrainian sources, 2 of the occupiers' missile ships may have been damaged in the raid. Certainly there were explosions at the 2 ships. How much damage was done is a bit of an unknown. You can see it fly in there, and then there was an explosion. That's one of the strikes, and that looks to be the other. So this morning, Ukrainian attack drones successfully struck Russia's Caspian Sea flotilla in the port of Kaspiysk, over 1,000 kilometers behind the front line. Seen here, the a Ukrainian drone flies low over the harbour and slams into the row of docked Russian warships. So good news there. Now, according to the sources from UP, Ukrainian HUR kamikaze drones have struck Russian ships in the Caspian Sea for the first time, targeting the Caspian Flotilla naval base. Drones reportedly hit at least 2 targets in Kaspiysk, Dagestan, the Project 11661 Tatarstan, and Project 11661K Dagestan Gepard class frigates. So just to give you a reminder of where the Caspian Sea is. No, that's the Caspian Sea restaurant in London. Yeah, right. Okay, here we have... Yeah, not interested in you. Here we have... No, I said I'm not interested in you. Go away. Really? Really? Is that what you think I want? Oh, gee whiz. I only wanted to find out where the Caspian Sea was, but no. Here we go. Let's do that again, shall we? Okay, so we're not going to the Caspian Sea restaurant. Bye-bye, south coast of England. We are going to the Caspian Sea. Right, so this is where it is. It's not like massively distant from Donetsk sort of area, as you can see, but it's still a long way away. But it's not like crazily over the other side of Russia or anything like that. So we have Baku, Makhachkala. Where is Kaspisk? I'm not 100% sure actually. There it is, Kaspisk. So it's near Makhachkala, which is in Dagestan. So that is, I presume, Dagestan there, and the port is just south of the capital of that region. But yeah, a useful strike there from the Ukrainians. Be interesting to see whether those ships are damaged beyond repair, what kind of damage there might have been. Okay, no more information concerning long-distance strikes. Now, Commander-in-Chief General Syrsky says that launching a preemptive strike in Kursk, Ukraine has stopped Russian intent to advance in the Sumy region to create a buffer zone. Since May, Ukraine's operation has led to significant Russian losses, over 20,000 personnel affected and 1,100 military assets destroyed. In response, Russia is now attempting to bolster its forces in the area, including potentially deploying North Korean soldiers. There's been a bit of criticism from people who are not particularly happy with the Kursk attack, that actually those troops are still plugging into the area could be used on the front lines to stop the pretty wide-scale Russian advances. But as Syrsky says, as of November the 5th, 2024, almost 3 months into the operation, enemy losses in Kursk direction amount to 20,842 personnel, including 7,905 killed, 12,120 wounded, and 717 taken prisoner. During this period, 1,101 units of enemy weapons and military equipment have also been destroyed, including 54 tanks, 276 armoured fighting vehicles, 107 guns and mortars, 5 MLRS, and 659 vehicles. So that's pretty good there. He says currently Russia is striving for Ukrainian forces to leave this territory. The enemy is concentrated approximately 45,000 troops and is attempting to increase this number. Due to a shortage of their own forces in this direction, Russia is seeking to bring in military personnel from North Korea. Russian occupiers aim to seize more territory in northern Ukraine in the Sumy region. However, the Ukrainian Defense Forces took preventative action and continue to destroy the enemy on their territory. For their heroism and successful actions during the Kursk operation, around 2,000 service members have been awarded state honours. So that is trying to sing the praises of the operations there. A usually reliable source tells me, and actually this got into mainstream media yesterday, this was doing the rounds. A usually reliable source tells me that the North Korean soldiers who have deployed to Russia, says Gideon Rachman, have never had unfettered access to the internet before. As a result, they're gorging on pornography. This is a well-reported story, by the way. It's not just some rando on Twitter mentioning that. So the North Koreans possibly seeing things they've never seen before. In terms of how they can use the internet, and this goes to the idea that actually now that we're in Russia, it's going to be difficult to reintegrate them back into North Korea. They would have seen things and experienced freedoms even in Russia, war-torn Russia, that they would otherwise be unable to do back in North Korea. Now, Russian military shoots 6 Ukrainian POWs in Donetsk Oblast, according to the Prosecutor General's office. Russian troops shot the 6 soldiers dead in Pokrovsk area. That is another war crime, another execution of Ukrainian soldiers. It's the way that Russia appears to want to go about things. Kyiv Independent reports that Ukraine's gas production is at its highest level since a full-scale invasion started. According to Expro, gross natural gas production rose by 2.3% in October 2024 compared to the same month last year, reaching 1,663 billion cubic meters. Now, on the other hand, October, a Russian oil tanker by KSE Institute, Russia's oil reserves slightly decline amid lower global prices. Stronger coalition action needed to curb shadow fleet. That's the title of that. In September, export revenues fell to 14.7 billion due to lower prices, not due to sanctions. In September 2024, Russian seaborne crude exports rose 8.6% month on month, but only 8% had IGP SP&I Insurance. Coverage by ports, Baltic 16%, Pacific 2%, Arctic none. Black Sea oil exports are now fully reliant on uninsured shadow fleet tankers, down from 16% coverage in August. Urals, FOB Primorsk and Novorossiysk prices fell by $6.9 and $6.5 a barrel to $62 per barrel in September. Discounts to ICE Brent slightly widened to $11 a barrel. In September, 112 shadow tankers carrying crude oil left Russian ports. Wow. With 79% over 15 years old and 2 VLCCs involved in STS transfers. I presume that's surface-to-surface transfers, too large to load at Russian ports. Beyond extra profits, these aging tankers pose environmental risks, increasing the likelihood of oil spills. As of October 21st, 2024, the US, EU and UK sanctioned 92 Russian shadow fleet tankers. Russia tested these measures, returning 22 to service after long inactivity, with 17 navigating through or near EU and G7 waters, while others were withdrawn. India, China and Turkey made up 98% of Russian crude exports, in September. India's imports rose by 13.5% to 1,848 kilobarrels by day. China's by 15.6% to 1,358, despite a 33.3% drop. And Turkey remained in the top three, importing 132 kbd, its lowest since December 2022. Interesting there. UAE and Chinese ship managers help Russia bypass the oil price cap. Stream Ship Management FZCO from the UAE handled 13% of Russian seaborne crude exports, while 6 Chinese firms managed 15%. They used document fraud and STS transfers to hide oil origins and tanker routes. Russia is shifting Sovcomflot tankers to mask ownership. Since August 2024, tankers moved from Sovcomflot linked firms to 3 new Emirati firms and 1 in Turkey. Now 16 tankers are managed by these Emirati firms, 12 already designated by the UK, all sharing the same Dubai address. Russia bypasses sanctions with a double sale scheme. January to September 2024, 36.7 million barrels sold FOB to Lukoil and Gazprom, allowing insurance at capped prices. Oil then resold DES to end buyers at higher prices. Russia nominally insures transport security but doesn't actually provide it. So make of that what you will. Lots of stats and numbers there, but the Russians seem to be suffering a little bit in their oil exports, but that's due to lower prices, garnering them less income per barrel rather than sanctions. And of course, oil prices are dependent on the global markets, and OPEC has a lot to say with that. Russia are OPEC plus, but they usually cut oil when OPEC asks them to, so on and so forth. There will be a lot dependent on global prices there. Anyway, that's enough from me. Really appreciate your support. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you relatively soon.